Plaintiff Casey Peavy says she started out casually dating the defendant because he said he was going through a divorce. But she soon discovered that the defendant was still sharing an apartment and a bed with his wife. Casey suing her ex-boyfriend for a loan and rent. Defendant Bryce McCool says he met Casey after she answered his online ad looking for friends with benefits. And he insists he was honest about the status of his marriage from the start. Bryce claims after they started dating, Casey became extremely jealous, and she eventually kicked him out of her home.
Start with you.
I actually met Mr. McCool in January of 2014 under the pretense that he was going through a divorce.
Mr. Cool.
Ms. McCool.
Oh, McCool.
MC Cool.
All right.
That's the Irish cool, McCool.
That's Irish cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, that's Irish. You're Irish, gentleman?
I am. Part Irish,
Okay,
yes.
well, he knows. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So yeah, I thought at that time he was going through a divorce. So we did start to see each other romantically, casually, but romantically. However, in February of 2014, I went over to his apartment and I noticed that all of his wife's belongings were in their proper places. And I also noticed a dozen roses on the kitchen table that were addressed from him to his wife. It was right after Valentine's Day. So it was about that time I started thinking, I don't think he's really going through a divorce, you know. I didn't speak up at the time because, you know, we weren't in a committed relationship, so I didn't want to seem like I was being possessive or something. So I just kept quiet. We continued to see each other occasionally for about the next year and a half. And during that time, I would ask him every now and then, so are you still married or what's the deal? And he would just kind of say, you know, well, I'm just married on paper kind of thing. He would kind of beat around the bush. Fast forward to September of 2015, and he actually came over to my house and said that his wife had actually kicked him out and things were finally over for good. Now, within a day or two of that, he actually proposed that he and I get into a committed relationship, which I naively agreed to. So from September, we started dating officially.
Why do you say naively? Did
Well,
you find out he'd never?
I didn't realize.
What?
Because I didn't realize the type of man that he was, and I didn't really put the connection together that he got kicked out one day, that I probably shouldn't be his girlfriend 2 days later, kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, you were kind of waiting in the wings all along.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so. But all along with that hope, you know, that maybe it would.
And he
end out
moved
good.
in with you. I mean, what else you want? He actually ultimately did. Leave his wife or got kicked out and then came to
Well,
live
that's
with
what
you.
he said happened in September. He
Well,
said
if
he got
he
kicked
moved
out.
in with you, you sued him for rent, right?
Oh, yeah, that comes later. He actually didn't move in until February. So from September to February, we kept dating. And I thought he was away from his wife all that time. And in February, he did move in. And
What caused that? I mean, what were the circumstances involving him moving in? And
well, he said that
he
said that his living situation had fallen apart again. When his wife had kicked him out, he went to live in his friend's shed, and he had been in there. He had been.
That's worse than a garage.
That's worse than the garage.
Pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
So then I think I don't know if he got kicked out or what, but he had to leave there, and so I offered him a place to stay, and he agreed to pay half my rent.
All right, let me get some background from you, sir.
Well, I met her in 2014 off of Craigslist, a personal ad I put out for Friends with Benefits, and I met her off of that.
Don't they have a married couple site, though?
They do.
Why don't you just go there instead of having to lie for 2 years?
Well, I wasn't trying. I let her know ahead of time that I was married and going through a divorce, and I was going through a divorce.
And it takes time.
Yes, it does.
Some divorces go up to 5, 6 years.
Yeah, that one was about
That's
2.
how long with 2?
Yes.
3,
Yeah.
4. The higher I go, yeah.
But
yeah.
Your Honor, they were still sharing a bedroom all that time, so I don't believe he was going through a divorce.
I was
Single
still trying
beds,
to.
man.
It was a double bed.
2 people or 1 in each bed? Trying to help you, man. You tell me, what was your deal?
Well, I did meet her off of Craigslist. She responded to my ad, and I then proceeded to, you know,
Enjoy her company?
basically, I really started to care for her.
Oh, you did begin
Yes.
caring for her. How
Yes.
long after meeting?
I would say a year, you know,
Okay.
because it was just casual at first.
Mm-hmm.
So About a year after into that, she started getting a little more wanting a committed relationship and getting a little jealous and things like that.
Jealous of your wife.
Well, because it wasn't you.
Right.
Now you're gonna rub it in her face.
Well,
I thought you intended to leave for her.
I did.
Ultimately, he did leave for you, ma'am.
I guess.
All right, we'll get to the loan and the rent you're suing for.
All right.
Give me the specifics.
Well, I'm suing him for $500 for an unpaid loan. Around September of 2015, he started hinting around that he needed some money for his hobbies. He has a very expensive hobby. He flies RC planes and drones and builds RC cars and stuff like that, so he needed some money. So October 1st of 2015, I happened to have some extra money, and I did go to the ATM with him. I took out $500 and I handed it right to him. I actually brought a receipt as evidence. Here you go, Doyle.
To go fly a drone, you loaned him $500.
I handed him $500.
And he couldn't pay you rent. At what point had he stopped paying rent?
Well, that was actually before he even moved in. That was in October of 2015. He didn't move in until February, the following February. So we were just still kind of dating then.
All right. And when was he to repay it?
He agreed at the time he took the loan. He said he would pay me back $200 a month beginning in November until he was paid off in full. I have not seen $1 of that $500 yet.
I was going through a divorce.
And it takes time.
Yes, it does.
Some divorces go up to 5, 6 years.
Yeah.
But Your Honor, they were still sharing a bedroom all that time. So I don't believe he was going through a divorce.
I was
Single
still trying
beds,
to.
man.
It was a double bed.
Plaintiff Casey Peavy says when she started casually dating the defendant, she knew he was going through a divorce, but she had no idea that he was still sharing an apartment and a bed with his wife.
Tell me about the rent he owes you for.
All
What was the
right.
agreement and what happened?
All right, well, he moved into my apartment in February of 2016, and he did agree to pay half my rent because we would be, we'd both be
How
living
much
there.
would that be?
My rent is $695 a month. He agreed to pay $350 of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so he began living there in February. He did not pay rent on March 1st like he was supposed to. He actually paid it later in the middle of March. He paid $350 and gave it to me in cash. And that was the last rent he ever paid. He continued to live with me until April 17th. So he never paid April rent. That's what I'm suing for, the $350.
He did pay March?
He did pay March, it was just about 2 weeks
Did
late.
he give you notice when he moved? Or?
I actually kicked him out. We had a terrible situation. We're both dog people. We both have dogs. And I had been feeding his dog for months. He had never chipped in on dog food. Finally, after months, he said he would buy a bag of dog food. Well, days went by, no dog food came. I ran out of dog food for the dogs. They were going hungry for a few days and just eating scraps. So finally, after a few days, I said, hey, here's $20 towards the dog food. Take this, go buy the dog food and bring it home, please. A couple more days went by. The dogs are starving, And he comes home that night with a bag of hot dogs and some McChicken sandwiches for the dogs. And that was it. At that point, I said, that's it, get out.
No, I think they might have preferred that. What did they do? Did you give it to them?
No.
That's unhealthy.
That's only because I came home at 10 o'clock that night and the store that had the particular food that we were trying to feed them was closed at the time. So I tried to get them something to hold them over until morning, basically.
All right. And the dogs are there and you're gone, right?
Yes.
All right. And
Back to the shed.
you're not in the shed, are you?
Not anymore.
Oh,
That
okay.
was-
Where'd you go when she put you out?
I actually started saving up and moved. So
Oh, you moved voluntarily?
No,
All right.
no.
Because, ma'am, that was an illegal eviction, kicking them out. You can't kick anybody out. You have to get a court order telling them to move.
Well, he wasn't on the lease or anything. Does that
He
matter?
was, no, it doesn't. He was a tenant because he paid you rent
No. But he didn't pay rent.
the month before. And just because a person doesn't pay their rent, you can't kick them out immediately. If a person doesn't pay their rent, you go to landlord-tenant court. You apply to have them evicted. The judge says you can evict them and they owe this amount. You just said, get out. And if he didn't have a lease, you could give him 30-day notice to move, and then if he doesn't move, you go and have him evicted at the court. You still got to go to the court to have him evicted. You can't ever throw a person out. if it has been established that they are a tenant. That's why you are careful about letting them relatives come visit too long. On that 30th day, you better get them out. I want to come stay the summer with you. No, you can spend 29 days. Because in some states, all it takes is a 30-day residency and they become a tenant and you must go to court to get them out, whether they pay or not. And so what's your defense to both the loan and the rent?
The loan, it was my understanding that there wasn't a timeline actually put on the loan, that it would have, a considerable amount of time to be able to
What
pay
did you
it.
think?
No, that's not true, Your Honor. If I may interrupt him.
No?
I
How long do
figured
you think you could take?
4 or 5 months.
All right, and the loan occurred when?
November, I believe.
All right, and how many months has it been?
A few.
So what's your defense now? You thought there was no deadline, however, you thought you could pay it in 4 months.
Because she threw me out, and basically I had to use that whatever money I had set aside to be able to move.
And now you're in.
Yes.
So what's the excuse
I'm still
now?
not working at the moment.
How did you save money? What money did you save if you weren't working?
Just from side jobs. I'm a mobile mechanic, so I
All right,
do.
so you can still do side jobs.
Yes.
So you are working.
Sure. Yes. Sorry.
However you save money to move, use that same approach to paying her.
Your Honor, he didn't save money to move. He drove down with his friends who supported him the whole way down the road. He doesn't ever have money.
You knew that. January 14, you knew that. Don't wait
pretty
until
much.
you get in here and act appalled. You should have been appalled in January when he stayed broke.
You got that
When he
right.
went to that shed, that was a good sign.
Your Honor, he didn't save money to move. He drove down with his friends who supported him the whole way down the road. He doesn't ever have money.
You knew that. January 14, you knew that. You should have been appalled in January when he stayed broke.
You got that
When he
right.
went to that shed, that was a good sign.
Plaintiff Casey Peavy says when she started casually dating the defendant, she knew he was going through a divorce, but she had no idea that he was still sharing an apartment and a bed with his wife.
Ma'am, I'm going to give you your $500 for the unpaid loan. Do you want to pay that rent you owe her?
No, sir. I don't believe I'm entitled. Yeah.
Why?
Because I was wrongfully evicted, right?
Oh, who's the judge now?
I shouldn't have given him that defense, but out of fairness, I had to at least tell you that was an illegal eviction, and he picked up on it.
Real fast.
500 is all I can give you, ma'am. Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
Thank you. Well, you treated me really bad, Bryce. You treated me like crap. But you know I always liked you, so I'm not sure where to go now.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry about everything. I just hope things work out for you,
Plaintiff Sharita Lenore says she's known the defendant since she was 6, and recently Sharita took her in after the defendant was kicked out of her sister's house for sleeping with her sister's boyfriend. Sharita's suing her former friend for rent and a security deposit. Defendant Cheyenne Beck says Sharita will do anything for $1, and Sharita even used Cheyenne's 6-month-old child to con her boyfriend into thinking it was their baby. Cheyenne denies owing Sharita for anything.
Start with you.
Okay, I've been knowing Cheyenne since I was like 13. She was about like 6. We stayed right down the street from each other. Around when she was about like 10, her mother passed. Around that time, I guess, Cheyenne started having a little troubles. We had fell out of contact for a while. I moved away. I got back in contact with Cheyenne around 2015, 2014, around the time when her brother had passed. She, at the time, she was staying with her sister and her sister's boyfriend. She in turn had a situation with them where she had, I guess, got put out for sleeping with her sister's boyfriend. So I let her come stay with me. So as she was staying with me, This was in 2015, February. So she ended up leaving August of 2015, just up and leaving. At the time, she was supposed to have been paying rent then. She comes back in January, and she's like, she need a place to stay again. At this time, she was going through a DCFS case.
Okay.
And
Well, we're
other
about to
things.
get to that. That's
Okay.
the rent you're suing for. Let me get some background from you.
This is my godmother. She's a very kind-hearted person, but at the time she's just money hungry and she'll do anything for $1. She also used my 6-month-old child. She conned her ex-boyfriend into believing that that was his child.
With you.
But it's my baby. She conned her
But
boyfriend.
the baby has a father.
Yeah, it's right here.
Okay.
That's
And that's
not-
not her ex-boyfriend.
No. Her ex-boyfriend, she convinced him in thinking that that was his baby. Right now, today, he believed that my 6-month-old child is his baby.
With who?
With her.
And how? How?
And every time he, Your Honor,
Her kids look like her.
What do
She's
you think
standing
the
there.
purpose of that was?
I don't know, to get money. I don't know. Don't ask me.
No, you're the one saying it. That's why I have to ask.
Yeah, that too.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
When you say something and I ask you a question about it, that's the only reason I'm asking. So I hope you don't mind me asking. I know you told me not to, but I hope you don't mind. What you suing her for?
Breach of contracts, Your
How
Honor.
so?
For back pay on rent.
When she moved in with you in January?
Yes.
How much was the agreement for her to pay?
She was supposed to be paying half rent with me. I moved from my 1-bedroom. I was staying in a 1-bedroom basement apartment where I'm at now. I moved upstairs to a 3-bedroom, which is at $900. I went from a $500 bill to a $900 bill. The reason I went through that was because she had a DCFS case. They said my apartment was too small. So I moved upstairs to a 3-bedroom apartment. She was supposed to win half with me. It was around tax time. She didn't. She was supposed to have been giving me taxes.
$450 a month?
The one she.
$450 a month beginning January of 16?
Yes.
All right, and what happened?
She gave me 3. She had gave me 3. She had gave me, and that was it.
3 months worth
No, she
of
gave me
rent
$300,
or
and that was it.
$300?
$300.
And how long did she stay there?
Until May.
January through May.
Yes.
When you asked for your money, what would she say?
At first it was dealing with taxes. Then it was all God, mama, I'm going through this. All God, mama, this the problem, and it was just one thing after another.
And the security deposit was $450?
No, the security deposit, actually, we were supposed to win half, and she gave me $300, which means she still owed me $600.
All right.
At the time, she was staying with her sister and her sister boyfriend. She in turn had a situation with them where she had, I guess, got put out for sleeping with her sister boyfriend, so I let her come stay with me.
Plaintiff Sharita Lenore says she took the defendant into her home after the defendant was kicked out of her sister's house for having sex with her sister's boyfriend.
Ma'am? What do
I
you
was
say
not
to
living with her in January. Neither was I living with her in February, and neither was I living with her in March. I have written receipts saying where I was at, and I also have the amount saying how much I get every month.
They made our receipts, but I have everything. Those are just something she went to the place and got made
No,
up.
these
But
are
What
these
place?
are my receipts from when I was
Let's see
staying
what
with.
receipts
Go
you have.
ahead. But she never had her own place.
where you
and I
was
have
staying somewhere
Well,
else?
yeah, when I was renting a room
And
from.
your name is
yes,
on here?
Yes.
Here you go.
And
Here
also,
you
the
go, all the
person's
text.
signature is
Here's
on
my
there as well.
here's my text messages, everything. I don't know when they made that up, but here's everything proving my point.
Let's see her text messages. What do those text messages indicate?
This is January 10th of when she sent me the text message that she wanted to come back. Here's the 26th of when I went to go pick her and her stuff up. Here's her stating that God, mama, can I bring my rent down? This is her asking me to lower the rent from the 4.
January 10th. My
Here,
mom
right here.
moved out. I'm alone again.
Here,
This
right
is
here
you.
on this text messages, here is her telling me about the security deposit.
Where she moved to? My bed's still there and on some. I'm sorry for all the I said to you. I mean, I just want us to get back to how we used to be, cool and kicking. And I love you no matter what. What does this one say that she lived there with you, though, ma'am?
That's the day we ended up talking. I came
I know,
to
but
come
you
get
said
her.
something was on there
Yes,
indicating
this was
that.
this was January 10th. She
read
came
the
to come.
part. You
Yes.
read the part that indicates something about her moving in with you.
If you could look at the
No,
next.
you read it for me. Just
Okay.
read it. Here, everything you need. Everything you need, you read to me so you can tell me that.
Not a
Give
problem.
everything back. She said
Not
there's
a
something
problem.
in there where it indicates she lived with her in January.
Not a problem. Here, stating right here, she like, hello, will you come please get my stuff? This is her telling me on the 26th to come pick up her stuff.
Let's
now,
see it. Highlight that. You
on the
have it
26th, it
highlighted?
says-
Let's see that.
Yes, on the 26th, right there. It says, will you come pick up my stuff? Now, on the 10th was when we discussed it.
Get me and my stuff.
Yes, we discussed it, and DCFS showed up at my house on the 10th. We discussed everything on the 10th, which is why I passed it to you on the 10th, which is how we ended up doing the lease. She was still at her people's house, but she was going back and forth between both of us. Now, I went to
Show
go
this
pick
young
up
lady
her
that.
stuff.
How do you explain that?
Okay, but at the end of the day, I wasn't in her house.
That's the day I came to come pick
I
her.
texted things. I wasn't there. I wasn't living there at the
I
time.
know, you told her to come get you and get your
your
things
stuff.
so
Thank
that you
you.
could live there. Judging for the plaintiff. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
I love my goddaughter, and
I
this
would-
ain't gonna stop me from being around my goddaughter. This is not gonna stop anything. I love her. I just needed to talk to her and get it across that let's just get it over with, and that's it. That's all I wanted was to get it over with. I do love you, and you ain't going nowhere out of my life.
Plaintiff Linda Wheatley is a teacher, and on the first day of school after winter break, she and her colleagues went out for lunch. Linda claims after she parked in the restaurant parking lot, the defendant came out of his car cursing at her, and then he keyed her car, so she's suing. Defendant Larry Klimper says on the day of the incident, he had just gotten a bad medical diagnosis and was admittedly in a bad mood. Larry claims he was backing into a parking spot when Linda swooped in and stole it from him. So, in a fit of rage, he damaged her car. However, he believes Linda is suing for more than he owes.
Start with you.
Okay, I'm a school teacher, and it was January 4th. We were on our first day back after Christmas break. A group of us were going out to lunch, and we took 2 or 3 different cars, and I was in the lead car, and we pulled into a restaurant, and from trying to go have lunch, Mr. Klimper had some sort of 8th grade temper tantrum, and I don't even really know what happened until after the fact. I pulled into a parking place and I went on into lunch, and one of my colleagues who was in the car behind me saw Mr. Klimper get out and act like a fool, and I was...
You didn't know him?
I did not know him.
Okay.
I was walking into the restaurant. I turned around because I heard someone calling me a from behind me. And when I looked, Mr. Klimper was coming toward me, and I just said, "Really?" And I walked into the restaurant. Miss Walters, my witness, she did not come into the restaurant. She called me and said, "Come on out to the parking lot," that she had seen someone vandalizing my car.
Plaintiff Linda Wheatley is suing the defendant because after he falsely accused her of stealing his parking spot at a restaurant, he vandalized her car.
Why don't you give me some background on this, sir, and then we'll get to the actual damages. How did it go from the beginning from your standpoint?
First of all, I'm not a confrontational person. I've never been in trouble a day in my life. That morning, in fact, just shortly before that, I went to the parking lot there. I'd just gotten some medical diagnosis that could be career-ending for me, so I really wasn't in a very good frame of mind. I pulled into the parking lot and was trying to back into a parking place. She pulled in behind me, and as I was backing in, she pulled right in behind me and whipped into the parking place. I did get out, and I did confront her, and I called her exactly what she said I called her, and she told me that I should be quicker, that it wasn't her problem, that I was
That's
trying
a
to
lie.
back in there. I went ahead and parked someplace else, and I was mad. I mean, I was probably angrier than I can ever remember being, just because of her attitude when she walked away from me.
I didn't
And
know
I
who
walked
you
over to her
were.
car. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I walked over to her car, and I pulled out a key, and I knew it was wrong. I knew it was wrong at the time I did it, but at that point, I didn't care. If I could have turned that car into dust, I would have. And that's
All
it.
right, let me hear you describe what happened.
Mr. Klimper reminds me of my students. I teach middle school kids, and this is how they handle problems. So I hope to use this for a lesson that when you're angry, there's better ways to take care of things. I looked at him crazy because I've never seen him before. I had no idea he had passed the parking spot and was going to back into it during a busy lunch rush. I didn't know he was backing in. He'd passed the spot, and I pulled in.
I'm halfway into the spot, ma'am. You knew exactly
Flat out
what I was
lie.
doing.
Flat
And that's
out
why
lie.
your
Let
friend.
her finish, sir. So
Okay.
far, you've been very respectful of her and of me and all of that. So I'm giving you a little credit here. So don't mess it up.
Your Honor, I did not know why he was coming after me or why he was cursing at me. I had no idea. I just walked away.
You had to have an idea. Man, call you that?
Well, I've had parents call me that and students call me
Well,
that,
you
but
know
not
why they
complete
did
strangers.
it. All right. And tell me, is it any different than he said with regard to the damage?
No.
Okay.
The damage, that's the only thing he's told the truth about.
All right. Did you go to the police? What happened after that?
I have some pictures of him with the police.
You see it, please.
It was my suggestion we call the police, not her.
Pardon?
It was my suggestion we call the police.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
I have the police report
Well,
too.
he
that-
could have left, so he must have. Were the police there to witness it? I mean, he
My
waited on the
witness-
police, obviously.
No.
My witness called the police.
And was he charged? I see the
Yes, he
officer
was.
writing a ticket.
Yes.
And what was the ticket? Let's see.
Molesting a vehicle. That's what it says.
Sounds horrible, doesn't it?
To each his own, sir.
I did a double take on
Whatever
that
your
one, too.
thing, your thing is your thing.
I also have my witness statement. She couldn't be here because school starts
Let's
in the
see it,
morning.
please. But he admits to having done it. What discussions has there been regarding payment since you were ticketed, sir, and you admit to doing
I
it?
received a ticket. I paid a $545 fine. I was given a deferred sentence. I called several body shops, and they gave me an unseen estimate at between $800 and $1,200. My attorney also called some body shops and got an estimate of between $1,000 and $1,200. I offered to even pay for a rental car for her when her car was getting fixed.
Well, I'm just curious why the judge didn't order restitution for
The
the
judge-
loss that this woman suffered. Did he order restitution?
Restitution,
All
yes.
right, there you go.
And the district attorney, I talked to her, and she said that he had been ordered by the court to pay me.
There you go.
And
All
I
right.
have
That's a lie.
text messages from him, and where he's been calling me after this has happened,
Do
so
you
he
have-
knows how to get a hold of me.
Yeah, do you have a receipt or estimate of what the
Yes.
repairs are? I'll go with that.
Yes.
And sir, you said you obtained an estimate?
Not in writing, just over the phone, and my attorney also did. What she said as far as
Do
my
you have a
contact-
letter from your attorney saying that he?
No.
All right. Last
The only
remark.
contact I had with her was after I got served with the small claims filing. I sent her a text message. I told her who I was. Told her that we could get her car done a lot cheaper than $1,700, and she came back with $1,900 and something.
All right, I
court
got your
costs,
point.
And she
Do
said
you-
it was already done.
Got it.
Plaintiff Linda Wheatley is suing the defendant because after he falsely accused her of stealing his parking spot at a restaurant, he vandalized her car.
Do you have any temperament problems, sir, previous to that?
Never.
All
The
right.
prosecutor told me he's had several arrest warrants in Colorado and 2 in Oklahoma.
No.
For outburst of,
She wouldn't tell me why.
all right, could be in driving violations, running a red light, running a stop sign. All right, just trying to find out because he seems like a stand-up guy, seems very calm today, and maybe that was just something regarding the news that he received and was angry and stressed at that news because it just doesn't come across as an angry, disrespectful guy. He admitted everything that you allege. In fact, he said it before you did. He described the damage before you got around to it. He was just trying to get off a little cheap now, I will say that about him. But the outburst, of course, I'm critical of that, and of course, we're going to hold you liable for that. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount requested, $1,732. Have a good day, sir.
I'm disappointed. You apologized to me at the courthouse a week ago, and now you acted and told lies again.
Whatever you say. But I
Man's
will
a
say
liar.
this, what I called you the day I first met you, it still goes.
Plaintiff Jovan Henderson says he and the defendant have been friends since middle school. But after high school, he claims the defendant got a big head. Jovan is suing because he loaned the defendant money for a laptop, and he has yet to be repaid. Defendant Derek Williams says in the 20 years he's known Jovan, they never had a single dispute until this lawsuit came about. Derek insists Jovan is suing him for more than he owes.
Start with you.
I known Derek Williams since middle school. Grew up together. Like after high school, he started acting big-headed and whatnot.
Why do you think that was?
I guess he just growing into himself, or I don't know, really.
Okay. Sir, you said you all were cool during high school and everything else, and then you became big-headed.
I don't know when that happened, but I've known Jovan for over 20 years. Can't say we ever had any real dispute other than this. His mother
After high school, what'd you guys do?
After high school,
What you do for a living? Did you go to college or anything?
I went to college for a little while.
I'm trying to learn a bit about you. He say you got big-headed or, thought you more than anybody else. That's typically what that means. And
Yeah, I went to college for about 2 years.
What you been doing since high school?
I went to International Academy of Design and Technology for a year and a half. I went to there for interactive multimedia. My mom got sick and forced me to stop going.
Okay. What you been doing since then? What's your life?
Working.
Okay, consistently?
Yes.
All right, good. You guys look professional guys. That's what I wanted to know as well. Get a lot of guys in here, they love to tell me about themselves. And I used to be a drug addict. Your Honor, he smoked crack. He sell crack. He been in prison. You guys coming here looking a little more sophisticated and you don't want to tell me the good stuff. I need to hear some good stuff sometimes. All right, but you all don't want to tell it. You all might be like the rest of the crooks that's coming here. You just don't look like it. Go ahead. You tell me why you suing your friend here.
I'm suing him for a computer that I paid for $2,232. He agreed to pay for it when he gets his income tax.
You went for that.
Right. Right.
When was this, sir?
This was in February 9th, 2015.
All right.
He asked me could I help him out get a computer for his making beats and all that type of stuff.
Okay. All right. Tell me about this purchase, sir.
Well, yeah, the actual agreement, I agreed to pay him back half the money, which was about $1,200.
Tell me how the transaction occurred. Who agreed? Who asked? What happened?
He actually came and one day we was at his house and he was just like, so what's up with the music? And I was like, I can't make any music right now. My computer is down. And he was like, what type of, you need a computer. What type of computer you need? And I had been looking at something already. So I knew it was the Alienware computer, the M17. So I told him, I showed it to him. And he asked me, he said, would I pay back half the money for the computer, which was like $1,200.
Why do you think he only wanted half back?
Because he's a good friend and he believes in what I was doing.
Was he gonna have an interest in what you're doing, as in a financial interest?
Yeah, he said he wanted me to buy him a Panamera, a Porsche.
Have you bought it?
No, that's it.
Did you agree to buy it?
Yeah, I told him I got him. I told him I got him on the Panamera.
Plaintiff Jovan Henderson is suing his former friend because he loaned him money for a laptop and has yet to be repaid. But the defendant insists Jovan is suing for more than he owes.
Go ahead.
I was supposed to pay him back, like he said, when the income tax came, and the income tax came, and I didn't pay him back. I didn't pay him in March. The reason being, he was like popping bottles and throwing money in the air. And I kind of felt like, okay, Jovan is straight. You know, I don't have to pay him back so fast. And I told him in September, I would give him some money. So September came, September 1st, he came to my house like 3 in the morning. He comes over here like he Nino Brown. He's sloppy drunk.
The gangster.
Yeah, like a gangster. He come with his cousin. I guess he was the muscle. And, you know, he come over like, yeah, so what we gonna do about this money situation? So I'm like, okay, Joe, I gave him $300. He, what I'm gonna do with this? What's this? This ain't no type of money. I said, Joe, you know, I could give you $300 a month for the next 4 months, and that would be $1,200. Nah, I want all the money, cash. So I was just like, Joe, you drunk, go home. And that was like pretty much the last time I had some.
Sir, he says he was only to repay half. What do you say to that?
It was, the agreement was, but then like after.
That was the agreement?
No, yeah, you can say that, yeah. It was half. But then, like, it's been like a year or two, and he wouldn't fail to pay anything. I had sent texts, everything.
It was some months. It was the summer. I was
got the
supposed to
texts
pay
right here.
in March, and I didn't pay you back until September.
I got the texts I sent to him.
If you agreed that he only owed you half, you can't change it now.
I mean, he had the computer over a year and failed to pay anything.
Yeah.
And didn't even answer the phone calls, the text messages, nothing.
I never
But
did
you can
that.
only sue him for what he owes you, and he only owes you what you all agreed to. And you agreed to allowing him to pay you only half of the cost. So he owes you, but he only owes you what he agreed to pay. And he paid you $300?
You know,
No, he gave it back. He didn't accept it.
Oh, okay. All right. So you can give it back to him.
No, he wouldn't take it.
23, 22 divided by 2. That's half of it, sir. That's all I can grant you is because that's, as you say, you agreed to accept half back. You're a good guy. You got a Porsche coming. Is he any good? Can he produce?
I don't know. I ain't seen him in a year.
Huh?
He been shaking me for a whole year.
No, I ain't been shaking him. You know
Before that, was he any good?
I've been sending him messages
He a
and
pretty
everything.
good producer?
Yes.
All right.
I'll give him that.
You might get that Porsche. Because I got 1161. We have him on television as agreeing to buy you a Porsche.
Right. I'm waiting.
That's a contract too.
I'm waiting.
All right, there you go. So 1161 for now.
For now, right.
Porsche for later.
Right.
Have a good day.
I'm glad it's over with, basically. Right.
I'm not really mad at Jovan, but I know he likes to hold grudges. So, but that's it.